Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Monday night church. If you're in the chat, put something down in the chat, so I know you're here, and I'll drop you the link, and you can join. We're gonna start church. Well, I would say every Monday at 7, from 7 to 8, 7 to 8:30. Game 7 come on tonight for the NBA Finals, so it won't be all night. All right, let me open up YouTube. Here we go. All right. It always take me a good hot second to get everything started. Go. What's up, TMG? All right, I got the chat popping. Let me drop the link. I'm glad I hadn't do no Billy links. Hey, Telegram. Yes, TMG. It is necessary. um, what's going on, T? 65-gallon reef tank. There's the link if you guys want to hop in, be my guest. What's up, TMG?
What's cracking, man?
How you enjoy your Memorial Day?
I'm working, man.
It was working.
I'm still working.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm usually like that, but I said, man, I need that 3-day weekend.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm here like looking around. I want to take 3 days off, just like fly somewhere, man. Like, probably Florida. I don't know yet.
Yeah. That'd
I
be
don't
the
know.
move. Well, I like to go to Florida and stuff when it's cold. I'm just
I
that.
just don't have no Florida money right now.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, it's gonna get expensive now because it's gonna be
Yeah, it's like tourist season.
yeah, for sure. I just want to make sure I run my live stream my church every Monday because I don't want to be inconsistent no more. So because I sure wasn't going to do it, but I see nobody else really ran a live stream today. Really,
Yeah,
guess everybody out with their family or whatever.
people like me, you ain't got families.
Yeah. Oh man. So what's
You ain't barbecue?
no. I didn't go to no barbecues. Actually, my church we have this big Memorial Day weekend celebration. So all of the people from out of town come and stuff like that. And it was like basically barbecuing on the yard, like close to my apartment. So I got like all of the ribs and stuff I wanted. That's just like, and then I'll go back to being vegan.
Yeah.
I break every now
Was
and
it swat? What was it? What kind of?
then. Huh? Oh,
What
beef
kind?
ribs, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's up, Bronx Reefer Brock? That's hard to pronounce. Bronx Reefer Brock. Wherever.
Brock like Pokemon.
Brock, wait, Pokemon?
Yeah, you remember Brock from Pokemon?
Mm.
He was a gym trainer.
It was a what?
He was man. You don't remember Pokemon?
Nah, man. I mean, I know of Pokemon, but I don't know the characters like that. I mean, I know Pikachu and I know the how it goes. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know like in-depth characters. Like I'm an '80s baby, man. Pokemon.
uh, Me too, bro.
What's up, Mass Aquarium?
Mass Aquarium.
Yeah. Oh man, Mass Aquarium coming saying amen this time. Last time he was dropping all kind of bombs on me. Hey, what's up, Rob? Rob Aquatics. Rob Exotic Aquatics. Shoot. So what's the topic, man? We got Telegrams in the building. What's up? Welcome to your. Is this your first live stream, Graham? So I can't hear you.
Who's Telegram?
That's my guy. He's a DMV reefer. Hook me and Moki up with some Space Invaders. Always just helping guys out. Yeah,
Gotcha.
part of the Reef Squad, man.
Reef Squad.
You an SPS man too, right? Graham.
Yeah, man. You can hear me?
Sticks and plates.
Yeah.
Oh.
TMG is an SPS guy, so yeah, I got a lot in common.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, I kind of remember the topic. I mean, if you want to run with this one,
SPS. You know what?
It's related to SPS.
I just want to say this. I was on Reefing with O's live stream. I was just listening in, and I heard Reef Spy say he answered the question: if you could do anything different, what would you do? And I guess in terms of corals, he was saying he wouldn't do a mixed reef. He would do either SPS or LPS, but not like a mixed reef because it's such a balancing act. And I think I agree with him because I don't see a lot of guys that have like a big SPS collection. They don't have many like like torches and LPS to go along with it. It's just mainly SP, and I guess that's because they sting the sticks or something. Is that true, Graham?
Yeah, it will sting the shit out of your sticks. But yo, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Basically, like the drawbacks of having a mixed reef, not like a mixed reef like you got some zoas here and there, like a full blown mixed reef, like when it comes to SPS, like and why some people might struggle with SPS with mixed reefs. And it's something I heard on Meliv, what's his name, Meliv's reef. He was basically talking about palytoxins, and just like like all soft corals, they could release toxins into the water, and like there's a lot of people like they have like some big old leathers and all that kind of stuff, and like their SPS just RTN for no reason. You know what I mean? And it just got me thinking. I'm just like, man, like maybe my deep hatred of soft corals is like, what I mean, my conscience. Like if you put those in your tank, they gonna start dropping, what I mean, chemical warfare and just start killing everything that's valuable to me. So I'm just like curious to see if like anybody else has like experience like.
What's your take on that, Jim?
Yeah.
As far as like mixed reef, do you agree with just kind of sticking with like a species only, like SPS or LPS or all salties?
No, I'm a purple tank man. I got everything living in there.
You got a 40 breeder, right, Jim?
Yeah, it's 45. No, so 20-gallon Frag tank connected to the 45 cube with another little 10 hanging off the side because I ran out of room in the 20. But it's total mixed. So fish, softies, leathers, and SPS.
Okay.
So go ahead.
What I'm asking as far as care level, will it be you still, I know what your preference is as far as being mixed reef, but as far as care level, like, not really like trying to balance everything. You could just stick to like one water parameter, basically like a low nutrient system. Would you agree with that, or you just like reefing is reefing, basically?
I think all the different tanks are different, right? Everybody has a different approach. My approach is working for me. We've talked a little bit about it. I'm a no water change. Before, no water changes were cool. I supplement the way I think I should based on both the way the tank looks and the occasional ICP test. And I just try to keep it simple.
That's interesting. Give me 1 second, shot. I'm trying to type, send an email, and listen to you guys. It's kind of hard.
Take your time, DC.
Hey, what's up, How you doing, brother?
Just listening in.
Yeah, what's your take on that? Oh, as far because I got that from your live stream when Reese was talking about if he would change anything, he would stick to basically one category of coral. So I guess if he loves SPS, he would do just all SPS. What you think about that? Oh,
I think there's something to it. I think there's something to it. I think if a system is designed for low nutrient, you want to keep SPS, and you design it with high flow. Like if you don't want a substrate, extremely high flow, highlight all areas of the tank. I think so. For instance, like, I was away last week and my tank controller failed and I'm having a few issues. And I don't know, man, like the LPS in the tank look awesome. Like I've had 0 nitrates, 0 to 5 nitrates. My phosphates are a little high, so I wouldn't say I'm running a ultra low nutrient system, but the SPS look kind of pale. Look a little pale, maybe because parameters have been switching over the last week. Parameters have been swinging, but there's something with the LPS where now there's more nutrients. I haven't been skimming or anything for the past week, and they just look amazing. Like they're loving what's going on. Might be something to it. I'm not sure. I think there might be something to it. If I watch the BRS series that BRS is doing now, where with like the softy tank, it's so simple to take care of. You could probably add more fish to it. You don't have to worry about parameters too much. I think there is something to it. I don't know if I know exactly what it is, but I think if you're designing a softy tank, there's a lot less that goes into it versus if you want to have like a SPS dominant tank and keep all like the really sensitive aquapora and stuff. Me personally though, I want a mixed tank. I don't think I could have a tank with no movement, with just all sticking. So I'll probably put in the extra work to find that balance where, everything is kind of happy.
Right. I feel the same way though. Because I like torches because they give you all that movement and they give you that color. But it's something like I like the SPS because the way they grow, like they kind of grow like the branchy like into the water column. So it makes your aquascape different. I don't know. I'm torn with the mixed read, but I can understand the whole you can kind of, like I said, I think with the mixed read, and that's just my opinion, you're kind of doing like a balancing act where you kind of keep so many different types of species happy. So many different parts of the world. So, Paul, what's your take on that reefing community worldwide? What you think?
You'll have to throw me a question because I was trying to log in as you was talking.
So the question,
I know it's something to do with LPS and SPS mixed reefs and that. So
yeah,
the question
was what would be I guess more practical or more easy? Would you prefer just doing a species only as far as like all SPS, or like all LPS, all softy? Would it be easier to maintain your reef?
I personally think everyone should have a mixed reef because you got to remember when you've got your water chemistry. I can hear feedback. I don't know if anyone's playing it behind.
I think it's bouncing from Liverpool and back to Manchester.
Yeah, you got your softies, you've got your LPS, and you've got your SPS, and each one of them tells you what's wrong with your tank. So each thing. So if you get a softie, like the only softies I have is always. So if mine's always start closing up, and they're telling me that something's wrong for the water for them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if my LPS starts to close up, I know that's something's wrong. That with me, I think that balancing game's gone, and it went a long time ago, because I can throw LPS softies and SPS into my tank, and I'm not playing a balancing game at all. So when you talk about a balancing game, it's like, how do you mean a balancing game? Do you keep them high for your softies, your nutrients high for your softies? Do you keep them ultra low and then pump the food in? Because you've got to remember, you keep an ultra low system like Seymour, he'll be feeding so much food into there to start raising them them LPS and softies are going to be fed really well.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of dosing like the best. I think to me, when I came up, I think you know, I was always taught that keep your the nitrates low and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm not a big fan into dosing nitrates. Like we do all this, we put all this equipment and stuff, skimmers, algae reactors, algae scrubbers. Um, you know, we do all this stuff to reduce nitrates, and I'm just not a big fan of putting it back in my system.
But
So
you got to remember, when you're putting it into your system, DC, you're controlling that. When you don't do that stuff, it's out of your hand. You're not controlling it. You're controlling what you're doing when you're doing it that way. It's not the other way around. When you've not got control, that's when it can get out of hand. When you're controlling it, that's when it's absolutely stable.
So the business Reef Tank just said the species only is easier. Mix is different because SPS have different requirements than LPS. But I think nature is a mixed reef, not species specific on a grand scale. But I mean, I could say I don't like to compare our reef tanks to nature. And that's just this in my opinion because you know, it's such a small scale, like a small bit of water. Like to try to you know, compare it, it's hard because every coral basically comes from a different region, right? So it's like we putting all that into one glass box and trying to like make everybody happy. So I don't know.
There's ways you can think of that.
Reef in the house, so I'm gonna drop him a link. If you guys,
if you think of,
go ahead, Paul.
If you think of, you've got natural tide pools in the wild. So when you've got natural tide pools, they're just in. You always say like little boxes in these little aquariums and that. Tide pools, they have water changes daily because obviously the water goes in and out, so they get water changed daily. But you get little tide pools. These tide pools might be 100-gallon little tide pools with corals growing in them. Do you know what I mean? So every day the water goes down, and then they only have 3 foot of water, 4 foot of water. Corals are growing in them. The tide will come in, water change them. The tide will go back out. You know what I mean, so there is sections of the planet where there is little sections where corals are growing.
Hey, the business, welcome.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, Tristan?
Hey, DC, love the video. Yeah, I'm on a party bus with some of my fisherman buddies heading back from our trip in Nantucket, New Bedford, Connecticut.
New Bedford, Connecticut. Yeah, I'm from New Bedford, Massachusetts, right?
Yeah. We were after porgies and sea bass.
Oh, that's a long ride.
About 4 hours.
You said New Bedford, Massachusetts?
Connecticut.
New Bedford, Connecticut.
Yeah. Ooh.
Haven't heard of that part, but okay.
Yeah, it's near Montauk and Martha's Vineyard.
Okay. But welcome anyway. The business. That's how you jump in. I read your comment. What's your take on, you know, different type of reef, like a mixed reef or a species on your reef? I saw you say your bubble tip anemone tank is easier than your 180, and you got all the apex in the world on the 180.
The reason I think, for example, my bubble tip tank, bubble tips require one type of flow. They require one type of light. Now on my mixed reef, my 180 is a mixed reef. So different flow patterns are required for different things. For example, my meat corals on the bottom on the sand bed require a different light than my SPS do. And if I put them in an area where the light is too bright, they'll die. I've had meat corals die on me in that tank because I put them in too high of a par and they didn't adjust as well as I thought they should have. But, you know, it's different things like that. You know, zoas may take a different flow than what a Duncan may take. You know, a frog spawn will have a different flow than what PC Rainbow will take. So part of that is the balance of everything. So
do you reckon that comes down to placement?
Exactly, it does. And you almost have to, a lot of times, and this is something I didn't do that I wish I would have, you know, hindsight's 2020, but I didn't really plan my tank out. My tank grew organically as I got more and more into the hobby. So if I had to do it all again, I would change my rock structure to make different places easier to put different corals. I'd have more caves and overhangs and stuff. I'd have different structures instead of, I have kind of like the rocks piled up on the back and an area up front. I have a few caves, but nothing really major. But, you know, once again, rockscape is real important if you're doing this, you know, if you're planning it out.
So would you I agree with you 100%. But what about for the people that's on a smaller scale, like a nano, or like they don't have a bunch of options as far as aquascaping?
And I think a nano is even harder because once again you have a smaller space. In a 180, I have tons of space. I can really mess up and it won't really be that bad. But a nano, you know, if you put the wrong power head in, or you know, you have one thing on one side that requires high flow and something on the other side that requires low flow, it's harder to do that in a nano than say even a 75 gallon or a 50 gallon. So I think a nano is less forgiving.
Yeah, if you plan and pick correctly, then it's perfectly fine. But if you start going out and start picking strawberry shortcakes for a nano tank, thinking that they're going to flourish, a tank with very little flow and a big mushroom or toadstool next to it.
My next tank, which is going to be my 4th or 5th tank, that's probably going to be the tank where I'm probably going to take the advice like what Biz was saying, you know, plan it better for like, you know, overhangs and caves. And all the tanks I've had, they kind of evolve. Like you start out one way and, you know, the mistake I always make is I see like mature tanks. And I really only learned this, I've only been reefing for like 6 years, and I really only learned this in like the last year. I see these mature tanks and I'm like, I want a tank like that. I see Biz's tank, I'm like, I want that tank. And I look at my tank and I'm like, why can't my tank look like that? And then I realized like, oh, his years he's put into it and his colonies are larger. So I tend to just pile up a bunch of rocks to make it look full, give it that full look. And, you know, that just presents its own, you know, its own kind of issues. And then as soon as, you know, I have a coral that grows 3 inches, it's at the top of the water already. So then, so I think a few months ago when I went ahead and rescape again, I think in 2 years, that's been like a few times I've actually taken rocks out. Every time I rescape, it's taking rocks out because, you know, when I started this, I had rocks 2 inches away from the water because I wanted that full, you know, that full, you want to look at the tank and see, oh, it's full. Not realizing that, you know, if somebody else's tank that's mature, it's because the corals have grown into big mature colonies.
Yeah,
that's what I respect about the I think I was looking at Woody's tank, like the guys that do the minimalistic look. It takes a lot of like patience. Like you gotta kind of see what it's going to be, not what it is, type deal. And like I said, I wish it was for me, but I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. When I set up a tank, I have to be able to look at it and enjoy at least a little bit of it. And then once it started maturing and growing, then I can really start enjoying it. But
yeah, but DC, that's like the ultimate challenge, though, is to see what your tank is going to look like 4 years in advance and kind of play with it. Man, I want to do. I want to do it so bad. I mean, you know, right now I can't do it because I can't buy another tank. But you know, the next tank I buy is going to be a large tank. I'm talking 200 gallons plus, and I want to set it up. I want, you know, I want a minimalist look. I want a lot of, you know, open spaces, you know, kind of like pillars type situations. And, you know, maybe like one pillar kind of moved up, another, you know, a couple pillars and back where it's not just one kind of scape. It's a whole thing. But to see it, it's like I have to look ahead 3-4 years to how it will look when it's grown out. And I have to stick with it. That's another thing is you see the vision. But me, I like to go to an LFS and be like, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. But you can't do that with that type of tank. It has to be planned out. So that's the next. I think that's the next level of my personal evolution in the hobby is to plan something out and then stick with it. Because right now I couldn't do it. I'd fail at it.
I'll be honest with you, and that's the first part of admitting that you have a problem. To be honest with yourself, I'm like I said, I'm like you, Biz. I'm like you, O. I want to be able to enjoy my tank even in the baby stage. And I learned even with when I had the nano when I was doing another lagoon. After a while, I realized I just had too much rock in it, but I just had to look at it and just enjoy it for what it was. That's why I'm like big on the purple rock. Like I hate looking at the white rock, even though people say, man, it's gonna turn purple in months. I don't want I don't want to go through that part. If they got purple rock now and I gotta pay a little extra, I'm gonna do that just to satisfy my taste. So to actually, and I say this like somebody new, that's probably one of the hardest things to actually visualize what your tank will look like. Not.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you can do it when you're new. I think you have to have years of experience into it to get it to that point. And the other thing about it, like with me right now, I have this bubble tip tank in my 180. So to me, I care less about the bubble tip tank because it's still in the development stage. So, that's part of it. If you have multiple tanks, all your attention isn't focused on one tank. So that's something else. The whole multiple tank syndrome, it has its issues because now you got all these different tanks and you're trying to maintain them all, but while one tank is in its growth stage, your other tanks are they're great. You like looking at them every day. So that's
I think that's how we all end up with more than one tank.
Yeah, it is.
And I was thinking to myself, like, and I live in this one bedroom apartment where I have no room to put any more tanks. But when I do get a house, which should be in the next 2 years, I kind of want like a saltwater gallery, almost similar to like the King of DIY.
Mm-hmm.
It's like different, like saltwaters, maybe 8 lagoons or something like that.
What, man?
And one have like an anemone tank, one be a Monty Pour tank, one be a agro, to satisfy all your all your needs, basically.
You say 8 lagoons? I think we missed that. I think he just glossed over that. He said 8. You said 8 lagoons?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it will be similar to like what Joey doing with like just to be a gallery, but it'll be just on a smaller scale. So it'll be just all lagoons, So hey, what's up, CJ? So it'll be all lagoons, just like I said, one will be just all torches of different types. One will be anemones, all rock flower anemones, and some just to, because we all coral hoarders, in a sense. If I'm lying, y'all tell me to shut up, tell the preacher to shut up. But we all love collecting corals. We all hoard them. If you checked out my video today, you'll see that Tristan Reefs, from my eyes, is a coral hoarder. And he's proud of it. He has a frag tank set up, and he just keep collecting corals. He have no room to put them in. Same with me. Same with CJ. Same with O. Biz, I'm pretty sure you too.
I got a frag tank just for that. So
yeah. But instead of having a frag tank, just have a gallery, like a nice.
Exactly. And I see that. That is kind of how I, when my kids all go to college, and I'm an empty nester, and I move from the area that I'm at, I can see that happening. I can see that gallery. I mean, it's close to it now. I throw a couple more tanks in this basement, and I'll have a gallery, but I just can't do it here because I'd have to build a room specifically for that.
It's gonna happen for me. It's 100%, and the reason why I say it's gonna happen is that my wife is in the house, just like you, Biz, except my wife is fully vested now, and I don't think. I probably shouldn't be saying this publicly, but you're a couple, married, you have disagreements. I really feel like at this point in our lives, our biggest disagreements are over the tank, man. Like you can't put that on my side versus she wants to stick like some kind of torch on my left side of the tank, and it's not happening. So, we had a big falling out today where, she took one of my Setosas when I was away on business and kind of, moved that stuff around. I think we just have to have our own separate galleries,
Yeah.
It's a good thing, but then we only have 4-foot 75-gallon bins. There's not enough room for everybody.
True. Yeah, I could see that. And I'm like you, CJ. I might as well have an LFS. And I've even thought about that. But,
why not?
Exactly.
We trade within the hobby. I'm not trying to put nobody out of business or nothing like that, but I remember Mike Paletta. He was on one video and he said that him and Sanjay and some of his older buddies, they don't sell corals to each other. They trade. It's a real swap. You know, it's still a hobby for them. It's not a business. Like, if I'm pretty sure wherever you live at, Biz, where you live at, we all gonna get different corals. You know, we all.
You listen to Mike Poletta talk about his tank. It's like and I need to do that. Every coral has a story. Like, he'll say, "Oh man, Jake, you remember when Jake was filming his tank? He said, Jake, you gave me that 10 years ago, you know?" And he'll say, "Oh, I got that piece from Sanjay." So for him, it's a tank, but I think each coral in his tank, like, I don't remember which one, if it's Sanjay or Paletta, but I think Sanjay, I don't think that guy goes to an LFS and buys coral. I think every coral he has, he knows the story behind it, where he got it. Like, a friend of mine gave me that 50 years ago. He said, "Jake, you remember you gave that to Mike, and then Mike gave me a piece." Everything has like a story. I don't think there was one. There's a few where he's like, "Oh, a guy gave me a piece," or "I went to Germany and a guy gave me a piece." But I don't think there was any piece where, like, basically he said, "Oh, I went to a store and I saw that and I bought it and I liked it." Everything, it looked like he traded from someone else. And I think I want, like, my dream tank to be that, where every coral has a story.
So you want some DC corals in there? That's what you really saying? Oh,
and I'll take it.
Twisting my arm. That's what you want. You want some of my corals?
But you know, but that's cool though, because like the last count I think I did, I have 160 different corals in my 180, somewhere around that. And a lot of them do have that story. You know, I knew this guy and me and him traded, or I bought something off him and we had this long conversation. And I remember that conversation, you know, or, you know, I was traveling to Chicago and I stopped off at this LFS that I'd never been to, talked to the guys for a while, and, you know, walked out of there with a bubble tip I've never seen before. So, you know, that's I think that kind of makes it more interesting, is if your coral, if you remember where you got them and the story behind you getting them, or, you know, maybe you just met somebody in a parking lot that, you know, you never knew before. You met them off a forum or something. You know, I've done that too. So, you know, I do have those stories with my corals.
And just imagine, because of YouTube now, you know, them guys really didn't have like that media outlet, but we can share, you know, we can share with each other and share with the world. We like, so I can have some of the business tank corals in my tank and have it, like Ose, have a story behind it, and we will always be connected, you know. Just in case something happened to one of our tank, we just basically banking with each other. So I don't know, it's a thought, man. We should just really start this movement, because it's really been on my mind for a long time.
I agree.
It's already started. I think it's just we have to keep it going, you know, especially like a lot of us, we meet up together at different frag swaps and stuff. You know, people are starting to travel now for frag swaps. So, you know, hey, if you go to another city and you know someone's there, hey, you may even be able to spend the night at that place instead of getting a hotel. And still, you know, it's
what part of the USU and Biff?
I'm in St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay.
Yeah, we normally have about 2 frag swaps a year here. They're large for, you know, the city region. I mean, we have probably 6 LFSs within an hour drive of each other. You know, there'll be like 3 over on this side of town, and there'll be like 2 over here, and, you know, you can hit 2 or 3 LFSs in any direction. So because of that, we have a lot of frag swaps, and then, you know, we bring people in. You know, Jason Fox comes here at least once a year. You know, so yeah.
It's like I said, that's definitely something we should start, like a YouTube movement. You know, just trading with each other. That way, 5-10 years from now, all our corals be grown out, or whoever kept them alive, you know, and still have a story behind it.
And then would it even be even nicer, because I think different people care for stuff differently. So I'll bet you would start seeing changes. You know, if I gave you a coral and you grew it out for 5 years, that coral may look different from what it looks like in my tank because of lighting, you know, just kind of see the different, you know, changes that happens over time for these corals. So.
Well, I agree, because I think this hobby in itself is just always evolving as far as getting better. Like the big wave right now, I want to say last year up to now, is basically hybrid lighting, you know, implementing T5s with LEDs. I think almost everybody's leaning towards that, you know, even though LEDs was like the wave Like, you don't have to change bulbs and all that stuff. But in reality, if you're a tech guy, or if you want the latest and greatest, you kind of buy, new LEDs every 2-3 years or so. So right now it's like, okay, let's T5 LED. That's like the improvement success type deal. So, like you said, everybody's gonna be like on a path to success because one may have radions and one may have Kessels, and the core may just look different under each light, so same core, but yeah. So Graham, where you go, man? Why your mic is mute? Graham,
I'm listening. I'm learning.
Come on, Graham, you got an input, man. So Graham is the guy that you see in Moki's video of Inappropriate Reefing. I hope I'm gonna try to get out to Graham house and shoot some video myself. Hopefully, if he invites me.
You're welcome. Just let me know.
He's the guy that drilled the tank that was like super thick. Like, how thick was that glass?
It was half-inch glass.
Huh?
Half-inch.
Half-inch. It looked like it was just ridiculously thick.
I would be scared to do that.
The returns?
We haven't done the return yet. We've just done the overflow.
Okay.
He's been busy. I'll get over there.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's like a 40-minute drive, but just probably like a 10-minute drive.
Yep, that's about 10 minutes away.
Yeah, I'm not drilling half-inch glass by myself. I'll drill like a 40 breeder for $40. But like I'm just having whoever build me the tank like do the overflow. I don't think I want to take that risk.
It was enjoyable. We turned it into a little bit of a party. So,
all right.
Don't be scared, those tanks, man. Those tanks was like just that particular tank look like it's just built to last.
But I'm not taking that. Listen, man, I might get nervous and drop the drill out of my hand and crack the glass.
That's what Moki did.
Oh,
I thought he was going to drop it.
Yeah, I'm not. It's okay. Listen, I'd rather pay somebody to just have peace of mind.
Yes.
I understand that there's a skill and an artistry involved, and I'll just let somebody else do it.
So, you saying you're going, you plan, you and your wife plan on getting a new house, right? Do you have in mind what exact tank you want, like right now? Like, I put you on the spot. Can you give me the dimensions right now?
As of right now, the only thing we can agree on is that my wife wants to keep a fully grown Nassau. So whatever it takes to have a fully grown Nassau, we're talking 250, 300. So
yep.
Does that go by water gallons or the dimensions of the tank? Because I'm and it's just my thinking. Doesn't tanks like longer tanks? Does it matter how many gallons it is?
You know what? I don't know. I guess it depends on the space or the area we have to put it. But I've told her like it has to be 7-8 feet.
Yeah, you would want a longer tank.
Yeah,
as tanks grow, they want to, these things are used to swimming miles and miles a day, so you want as long as possible, 7-8 feet.
Yeah,
I'll
talk her out of the fully grown Nassau and maybe just a bunch of tangs, maybe purple.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. If she's gonna give you a drink tank, give her a blonde one and a regular Nassau tank.
Yeah, but see, man,
there you go, DC.
Where your wife at, man? Put her on the live stream.
I gotta agree with DC. If that's all she wants, and that is something that's easy to get, and pretty much any of your larger tanks are gonna fit into that category. Your Nasos, your Hippos, your more common popular tanks. You're gonna need that larger tank, so you might as well just give it to her, man. Make her happy wife, happy life.
8 foot, 300. I think I'm always doing like small upgrades, 20, 37, 50, now 75. I think it's time for like a bigger jump. And one thing I've learned is that I like that depth. So it's gonna be like a 3 foot deep, 7 or 8 feet long, 3 foot depth. I think we're both tall people. I'm 6'5", 6'6", and my wife is 5'11", so we're not worried about like, I think right now our tank is 21 inches high, and we can both without getting our sleeves wet, kind of reach the bottom of the tank.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think 24-inch depth is, that's fine. We can deal with that.
See, I feel small now, man, because I'm like 5'8".
It's easy because you don't leave stuff there to die, because it's so easy to reach. You don't have to use tongs to get anything. I think the thing we have to watch out for is the clowns are so mature. They've been with us for 6 years that you sort of have to play defense when they lay eggs because they get so aggressive if you come close to the tank.
Listen, I was at the school tank last Tuesday. I was doing a water change, and I only had one clown in there. He bit my hand. And it didn't hurt. It just scared me, man. I had water it was water all on the tabletops everywhere. So yeah, that's one thing about them clownfish, man. It don't matter how big the tank is. They're just gonna come over and take a nip at you. Like I was nowhere near the anemone, but yeah,
the small ones don't, but the bigger ones you can feel like a little pinch. It's not enough. They could draw blood.
Hold on. You said a clown could draw blood?
Yeah. Paul is not here anymore, but the other day Paul was I think I saw a picture, or maybe he told me where his clownfish like bit him, and there was a little bit of blood. At Billy Pipes's local fish store, Ocean Gallery, there's a 300-gallon deep dimension tank, and there's a single gold nugget clownfish in it. And if you go anywhere near the tank, the clownfish comes to bite. And I mean, I'm talking like his anemone is on the left side of like a 7-foot tank. And if you go anywhere close to it, like he'll come out immediately. If you put like you're putting a finger in, he'll come out like he's ready to attack.
That's great. 300 gallons.
Yeah, my clownfish, they're pretty docile, but whenever they're breeding and laying eggs and they're protecting eggs, they get very, very aggressive. So it's sort of like you have to get the net and sort of play defense.
Yeah, man. I definitely don't, I definitely don't want to do that, but it just to scare me. Like I never had the blood drawn, but I have a nice little nick. Like you can feel the little teeth. Like they're not biting hard, but it just scares you, because usually fish run away from your hand. So
Fisherman said he had to get rid of his gold nugget. So I have a gold nugget. It's not mature yet. In with the other two clownfish. The other two clownfish used to chase him. But now he's gotten a little bit bigger. Like they chase him, but he doesn't run. He just looks at them and like. So I think I'm gonna have him for another few months in that tank. Then I have to remove him because he's gonna get vicious. He's gonna be the one because the maroon clowns get bigger than regular like percula clownfish.
Is that Tyler?
Christian.
What's up, Christian?
Yeah, it's almost bedtime.
So, yeah. So what is it? Where'd Tina go? She on the tank.
Yeah.
She was just here.
Can I talk to Biz a little bit? I don't want to get too tight.
I know y'all have your Apex powwow. So go ahead, have it.
Hey,
cool. Go ahead.
All right, so we won't go to. So yeah, Biz, my Apex failed. The head unit died. And some things, fallback. What I realized is I slacked on a lot of my fallback programming. So a couple of things did not work as they should have. And, a lot of the code, when I transferred it from my old Apex to the new one, I had it saved. So I was reviewing a lot of my old code and I realized I didn't. Some things I did, but other things I didn't. So it could have been potentially worse, but my wife, did a good job of, I still had the old gyre controllers because when the head unit goes down, the programming for the gyres, it wasn't running it. So my wife brought out the old gyre controller. She plugged it in. So at least that ran the gyres. She topped up the tank manually. A couple other things. I'm running the core pump. And so once you unplug the USB from the core pump, it goes into, like standalone mode. Dosers were off. I made a few mistakes along the way. Since the sump, there was no sump action for 4 or 5 days. I should have probably done a water change, but when I had my wife reconnect the return pump, the sump was stagnant for like 3 or 4 days at that point. So I think the water was stink. There were a lot of dead bristleworms in the sump. So so far nothing died. Like I said, I think my LPS are all happy. Some of the SPS look really not so happy. But for the most part, I think it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and you know that's one thing that's kind of a friendly reminder to everybody out there that do have apexes to, you know, take a moment and look at your fallback programming. I mean, fallback has saved my tank, so you know I'm definitely a fan of it. But not only fallback, but now if you have the new head unit, the new EB832, look at your power monitoring stuff too. You know that can come in handy as well to tell you when pumps are starting to get clogged or, you know, at end of life. You know, things like that. Look at your alerting. You know, I used to use the Apex alerting that's from the little wizards and stuff. I'm starting to convert all mine back to the normal email outlets, so I can get text by it, and I know, because you really can't see it with the wizard, some of the alerting stuff and some of the power monitoring stuff. But you know, yeah, just pay attention to the Apex. So did you have to buy a new one? Did Neptune send you a new one, or how that work?
I know someone that works for Apex, so I was gonna say they took care of me. I don't want to blow up his spot, but
Understand.
Yeah. I know, yeah. So I know someone. So he helped me out. So right now I'm in the process of there's a whole nother the second head unit the guy gave me didn't work, but I think it was my fault. So, but we're not going to talk about that publicly.
Yeah, and that's something else I've been thinking about, is buying a second head unit. You know, it's one of those things where, do I want to spend $300 to save the thousands upon thousands of dollars that I have in coral, livestock, and fish?
Yes,
you know, it's
overwhelming
yeah.
for me. A guy messaged me on Facebook the other day and said to me, like, "Hey, I like your tank. I watch your videos. Like, what does your tank cost?" And there's been a few times where I've wanted to make a video, what does my tank cost? And I didn't, for a couple of reasons. I didn't want my wife to see it. But now my wife watches my videos and she knows what everything costs. So at this point, it doesn't matter anyway. But when I said to the guy, I got a lot of this stuff I bought used, but I'm going to send you what the retail price is if you had to buy it new. And I think I stopped counting at like $7,000.
I couldn't do it. I will not ever sit down and count out how much the system costs, because that's like for video gamers. You know, you're sitting there, you're playing this video game, and you type in the time commands that tells you how many hours you spent on it, and you realize that you spent like a huge percentage of your life in a virtual world. It's kind of like that with me with corals and the amount of money that I've spent. So I don't even want to know how much I've spent, you know.
But do you also add in what you lost?
Exactly. Because, for example, unfortunately, I lost an angelfish. Was it an angel? Yeah. It was a reef safe angel. I lost an angelfish in quarantine this morning. I woke up, he was dead. You know, that angel cost me $50, and you know, it's not the first fish that I've lost in quarantine. You know, I quarantine everything, so it's possible to lose things in quarantine. It is what it is. And I bought this one from an LFS. That's why I buy a lot of my fish from Live Aquaria, because of their not refund, but yeah, their refund policy. But you know, yeah, that fish is lost. I've lost a bunch of fish in quarantine. You know, I've lost tons of corals. I got a coral graveyard. So, you know, it's the amount of money that I've just flat out lost. You know, I told my wife, "Oh, I lost that fish." She's like, I'm like, "Yeah, that's $50 that I just could have burned." So
I think we were talking about, I can't remember which live stream, but we was talking about when you get enough confidence to buy these higher end corals, you're not scared to lose them. I mean, the person got the money to buy a home wrecker. God bless them, but to me, if just the thought of losing an $1,800 Frag. That's 1 inch.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will really go into some type of like crazy house. Like, you know, you just, I mean, it's just, and that's why Tristan Reef, if you're watching Tristan Reef, if you're still in the chat, I see your icon. That home wrecker. Whenever you want to break a brother piece off, you know.
Man, a home wrecker colony.
I'll make a couple more videos for you, bro.
Wow.
I'll make a series.
See, I don't have a home wrecker because, you know, that would wreck my home if I told my wife how much it cost. So, yeah. Right. There's certain things I have to wait, you know. Like I was late to the Walt Disney party, you know, so.
Those are a little cheaper, though. Like I think you get like $100 frag.
Yeah, you can get $100.
Yeah. They've been coming down, but like the home wreckers and the Kung Pao or Pikachus and all that, I'm like,
But I've spent a lot of money on you know 1 inch frags from like WWC or something, and I've lost some of those too. So, you know, I'm like, man, I should have just took that $100 bill and just lit it on fire, just you know. So yeah, it hurts, and you know, I don't know. I wouldn't even want to tally up my losses, even though it's a lot smaller number than my equipment. Yeah,
I was at almost $5,000, I think, and that was only on the equipment I was running now, not counting all the stuff I broke, the stuff I lost, the stuff I let drop in the tank and just died, and that wasn't counting any kind of fish or corals. I didn't even get to that point yet, and it was not a good look. Let's just say that. Not a good look.
So you saying you had all of this information from your wife?
Well, now she knows anyway. So, you know, the other day a Radeon came and I put XR15 on, and she said, I know that's $400. So, you know, it can't be like, you know, hey, she knows. But see, my wife knows I get a lot of stuff used, Biz. So, you know, here in New York, there's a lot of reefers, and there's certain times a year where you can get deals. So a lot of the stuff I've bought used from people who are getting out the hobby. But, you know, when something comes new, she's like, I know that was $400. I know that came from Aqua Cave, so I know that was new.
Do you hold your head down in shame, like when she confronts you? It seems like your wife just be sitting right, like she just wait for you to come in the door and just grill you with it.
It's no, because I'm not gonna say we passed that, but it's just that. But then my wife won't hesitate to, you know, when I went to that thing with Billy Pipes and there was like a torch there and the guy said $100 and I sent her a picture, so she said get it and didn't blink an eye, you know. So things like that, like Euphilia. Oh, my wife will drop, like if you gave her like a blue psychedelic Euphilia, she would drop like whatever money to get it. And then, you know, so she would look at me sideways if I spent that money on equipment. But for her to buy a torch or you know, like a frog spawn that's, you know, something nice, she wouldn't blink an eye.
And I'm gonna say this, I think Tristan just said something in the chat. He was like, real life prices of things don't make sense anymore. He was buying an air fryer that cost $80 and he was looking for a deal. And I say the same thing when it comes to heaters. Like most of us reefers, I'm gonna say most because I'm in that category. We want to get the cheapest, most cost efficient heater, which is probably the most precious, expensive, costly thing on our tank. But when it comes to a coral, we'll drop $300 like it's nothing. But a heater, we want to get that $40 heater. If it's $130, oh no, man, it's just. It seems like the price just gets so much elevated to the stuff that you really don't think that's important. Like a heater is a heater, but all heaters ain't created equal. So, are y'all one of those type of reefers, Biz?
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy the, what is it? Eahim, however you say it. Yeah, I'll buy like 2 of those and, you know, hope that nothing happens to them. But I'll turn around and spend hundreds of dollars on a WWC live sale and not even think
about it. That's what church is about. We gotta confess, guys. We gotta confess.
The heater, some things I don't mess with at all. Like the minute, like if I'm doing a water change and I even suspect for a minute, like, oh man, that heater was out of the water for a second, I chuck that bad boy. And just, I always have backup. The one time I've ever crashed a tank is because of a heater. And we were just talking about backups and what you spend on your system. And I refuse to lose. Like I would cry. Like you guys would, I would go into depression if I lost my livestock on my tank for like a $35 to $40 heater. So literally I have like, whenever BRS had that sale last year, I bought like 4 or 5 different heaters, different brands, and I just saved them. And the minute I don't trust anything, I use it. So what happens is it moves over to the water mixing station where I make water for water changes, and then I put a new heater on the tank. Like I would cry in a live stream if I lost my tank to like a $40 heater.
Well, make sure you come on my live stream, and turn your camera on so you see them Reef Church cheers.
It's not gonna happen, man. I chuck if I suspect, like it's summer now and I know my heater's not on, but if I'm in the winter and I have that aha moment, like, man, I don't even know, was it out of water for a second or two? I plug it out and it goes, it's coming off the tank. I'm not losing a tank for a heater. I refuse to. I'm not losing the tank for like a $35, $40 Jaeger. And it goes over to the pile that you use to heat water for water changes, and then a brand new heater goes on the tank.
Yeah, that goes to the water change station pile. So, you probably got like 6 heaters, huh?
I think I started to give some away the other day, but I think at one point I had 8.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and I listen, it might sound like a lot, but like I said, man, I think the one time I crashed a tank was because of a heater. And that caused me to get an Apex. But even now, I think I would absolutely. Can you imagine what would happen is if you're 180 because of 2 $50 heaters? I think hindsight, you would be, man, I probably shouldn't have done that. It would have been better to get different heaters.
It's all about those spares.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tristan's Reef, he wants to testify. He's
Come up to the altar, man.
He's trying to put in the chat, but that don't count. When we have a confession, let me tell you how the rules of Reef Church. If y'all have been to church, if you got a confession, you got to come in front of the congregation and state what you done wrong and confess your sins. So if you Tristan, if you had something to say, you have the mic, you have the floor. If you want to, just get something off your chest, but put it in the chat won't help you.
Yeah.
My wife just texted me. She said you spend over 10 grand on you. My wife just told me you spend over 10 grand on the.
She watching?
I think she's about to go into work, so she's watching. But I think she's undercounting that figure, to be honest. I think it's
yeah.
Go ahead, Tristan. It's on you.
So like, I legit could have used my old sump for my new build, and I didn't. I bought a new sump that cost like $1,000 because it was pretty and it was gonna match the new tank's trim.
See, and that's what I'm worried about right there, man. When I start building a new tank, I want all the PVC to match, the sump, the stand to match.
Hold on. I'm not done. Hold on. I legit spent double on a true union ball valve just so that they'll all have the same type of O-ring seal.
You a fiend, man.
It's bad. It's bad.
Do you feel a little better because you've been holding this in for a while?
I have been holding it in for a long time. I mean,
well, we don't judge at this church.
The thing about it is my wife is so nice. Like, I just tell her that I need it, and she says okay. And that's like the worst ever.
Your wife is tallying all this stuff up, and sooner or later you're gonna buy her like a Benz or something.
Yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back.
She already asked me for a Benz. She already laid that out. That's like, it's funny you mentioned Benz, because that's like her car. That's what she wants. She wants a Benz.
Yep, she gonna come home one day with it. She ain't even gonna ask you. She just gonna drive it in the driveway, and you're gonna be like, "What is this?" She's like, "Remember that tank you got last week?"
But Tristan, you should be able to flip that a little bit. The tank is for everybody. That's a fixture in the house.
But yeah, she loves the tank too. So I mean, I don't get a lot of like flack because of it, but I am extremely particular with certain things. Like I was very surprised at how many of how many people were kind of. I was really surprised at how many people didn't like the frag plugs in my reef. And as obsessive compulsive as I am, I like the frag plugs in my reef because that means that if I want to move a coral, I just pop it off the plug. I just pop the plug off and put it wherever I want it to be. And inside of a month or two, it's going to be fully encrusted over. I'm never going to see the plug again. But I don't want to break it off. You know what I mean? Because then I have a coral and a frag plug, and I have a
Yeah,
coral that I need to glue to
I'm
the
with you
rock.
on that, Tristan. I don't like the I like the disc of the frag plug, but not the actual peg. I always
Yeah,
cut that off with the bone cutters so I can get a nice, I guess solid mountain area. But with the frag plug, I'll take it a step further because I asked you about that when I was there with the frag plugs, and I think you told me it's good to have the frag plugs in the tank because you could actually see when it encrusted over
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
yeah,
Because
I
you
like
can
that way
see
of thinking.
you can see when it's happy, and the thing about it is right. Like my frag plugs are cured, so I put all my frag plugs in my sump. I don't put a new frag on a dry plug. It's been in my sump. It has stuff running around it. It has creatures living on it, sponges living on it. It looks like live rock because it's 100% cured. It's not dry plugs. And that's when I put a coral on it. It encrusts very fast on it, and I can see how healthy it is because it's on a nice flat surface. It's safe. It's clean, and it's doing well. You see, my problem is with those people who glue corals directly to their rock. What happens if you have a problem with your rock or you need to move something? You got to break it off of that spot or dig it out with a knife or some shit and then try to move it to another crevice somewhere in the rock. I don't know. It just seems like it's not a good thing. It just seems like it's gonna be a problem.
I agree. And if you want to see more of Tristan's Reef, head on over to my last video. I just dropped it today. Definitely want to come back and get some more shots of, because Tristan has a new build coming up. And if you want to follow him along, go to Tristan's Reef and subscribe to him. Awesome build. It's like a 330 something gallon. I don't know, but it's humongous. So can't wait to see that in person. So anybody got any more church confessions? That was good. And Tristan, he had to get that off his chest in the congregation because that was good. I'm gonna go to my reefing bro, Jim Telegram. He's on mute. He's just listening in. But we want to see if he got any reef confessions for us. I'm gonna put him on the spot real quick. Go
Oh,
ahead.
there's no shame. I'll talk. Jumping back on the idea of you banking and sharing and bartering, etc. Instead of buying. What I typically do is I'll buy, and that can be some money, and then I'll just give it to friends. I'll just give it to people around here. Once it grows out for me, once I get back what I had in it, not money wise, but size wise, and I'll give it to people. You know about that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I agree, Jim. Like I think with because we in the same facility, we're gonna be doing this for years to come, trading and sharing with each other. Because, like I said, I'm a pay it forward type of guy myself. So if it's something that you're looking for, and I have in my tank, and if I'm not a stingy reefer, if I only have one polyp or two polyps, then that's something different. But if I got a colony, like I got a bunch of rosters, I know a lot of people like rosters, hey, feel free, like, come on over. If you bold enough to frag it, go ahead, because I'm not gonna do it. I'm not a fragger, so.
And back to that Ben's point, there's a new car in my driveway, and that ain't mine. So that's legit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Tina Reef.
Yes.
Tina, come back, Tina. What's going on with your tank, Tina?
Everything good, I guess.
No,
I just said
you haven't had no
Huh?
You haven't had no issues?
No, not since I got rid of that damn crab.
Okay. You had a gorilla crab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to keep my alkalinity stable.
Mm-hmm.
Doing okay. I want to try to keep it between 8.5 and 8.9, and I'm sitting at 8.1 right now. So every couple of days I test it, and if it drops back down to 8.1, I just put 5 mLs of infusion in there. But my calcium is doing good. We're for 70, and my magnesium is still a little high at 1500, but it is coming down.
Okay, that's awesome. Hey, anybody that's testing, hey, I tip my hat to you because I've been trying to test. I think I gotta go buy some new test kits, and that's just another bummer. I hate, I bought so many different test kits and stopped using them, and then they expire. It just, so I think I'm just gonna stick with the saltwater test kits, and I'm waiting patiently on this Trident from Apex. I think that's just gonna lift a burden off my shoulders because I hate testing. I mean, I like doing it when we do Test Tuesday, but if it's just me by myself, yeah, forget about it. I ain't testing yet. So that's my confession.
I try to usually test on Saturdays, but I haven't been able to this weekend. It's just been so crazy. So I actually ended up doing it a little bit later. So
I don't think any of us like to test, although I do like what
I do.
Oh, I don't like the test at all, but I do like what kind of Paul is doing on Tuesdays, where he has like the Test Tuesday, where he just fires up a stream for a couple hours and everyone tests. I think at least there is like a little bit of a shame factor where they're like, hey, Steve, where's your testing? And I'm like, oh man, I got to come up with some excuse this week on why I didn't do it. So it at least keeps you honest.
Yeah.
It at least keeps you a little bit honest. Where you test every week. Like, even to be honest, some weeks I don't want to test everything. Like, there's no need for me to test magnesium every week. But at least with the Test Tuesday, I at least test my alkalinity, my calcium, and maybe nitrate and phosphates, at least, every other week, where, sometimes I might get complacent and at least not even test the alkalinity every week. So I think the test Tuesday there's a little bit of a shame factor where
it is. I agree, because I mean, I've been participating in Test Tuesday as far as like a viewer. Last week was my first time actually testing Tuesday, and I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed at my numbers. I was ashamed at my test kits, them being out of date, and I had to ask people how to convert. I got the Hannah checker how to convert the the ppm to the DKH. I just felt like, man, I know better. It's little things like that, like the testing that I should be past. That should be second nature. Same like with the heaters, like buying cheap heaters. Like, you should know better. It's like certain things as a responsible reefer, and I want to be responsible. I'm just not actually doing it. So yeah, go ahead. Y'all could kill the preacher right now. I do not test. I do not test regularly. I've been doing my water changes though.
I think I do them because I'm still so unfamiliar. I
want to get.
I'm at my 1 year mark. I'm just unfamiliar.
Hey, Brian, you're muted, Brian. I know you were trying to talk, but you're muted.
Yep, I sure am. Yeah, I was wondering, do you guys test at the same time every day?
Yeah, I think with the Test Tuesday, there is like usually a 2-hour window where the live stream goes on. So I think for Test Tuesday, I still on the weekends, Saturday mornings, will do my test. But for at least the Test 2 days thing, it's usually between 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So yeah.
All right, yeah, because I normally test my stuff around 8 o'clock. In fact, I normally test Sundays at 8 p.m. Central Time. So I need to start getting my testing ready. Has anyone here used the SR Aquarius speed test?
Who?
SR Aquarius speed test kit. It's like a magnetic stirrer.
Oh, speed test kit. Never heard of it.
It's basically a magnetic stir. I got a video coming out on it. I just finished editing it today. I'll probably release it sometime this week. But yeah, it's a nice little magnetic stir. Say like if you got a saltwater kit, you don't have to keep, stirring, or you don't have to keep swirling your stuff. You put it on the test kit, and you just you put your drops in and
wait a minute,
wait for the thing to change.
They got test kits where it stirs it for you?
Well, SR Aquarius came out with this device that stirs it for you. Yes.
So the same person that came up with this device invented the straw, right?
What's the straw?
Invented the straw.
The regular straw?
Yeah, the straw that you put in your drink.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it easy, man. I bought one. It's cheap. It's like $30-$40 or something like that. So yeah, I bought one. I got a video coming out on it. It's easy to use, man. I've been using it with my saltwater kits.
Yeah, I'm all for easy, man. Like that's why I'm so excited about the Trident, man, because by it testing those major elements, the nitrates and the phosphates, I could kind of like test on my own, or but just to have that type of somebody like your Apex doing it for you, giving you for a day, that's gonna be
that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna change the game. I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm waiting for them to. I don't know if they've dropped it yet to their testing group, the NSI group.
Biz, I'm gonna send you a message, Biz. I don't think it's gonna. Listen to that. I don't think it's gonna
call somebody out. Lisa Aquatics trying to confess in the chat, and it doesn't work that way. You have to actually come on to the church. You have to join, and then you confess, and then we don't judge you. But we just want to hear your confession, your testimony. So Lisa Aquatics, putting it in the chat, not gonna help you. We're just gonna ignore you.
It's a really awesome confession, though.
How many applications for that Trident they got?
How many applications?
Yeah, for the NSI.
I don't know. I don't even know if it's set up yet.
I think it's going to be a crazy amount.
Yeah, because I know they had the open enrollment for it a couple of weeks ago.
You got in?
I applied. I don't know if I got in or not. I haven't heard anything.
To test it, like beta product or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, but you have to give it back or something like that at the end.
No, because you pay for it. You just get it at a discount.
Okay. Man. Yeah, business. I hope you, man, with your track record with Apex, man, you are ally, man. There's no reason they shouldn't accept you.
I just want to be able to get it day one. I don't care about testing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. In fact, part of me is like, I don't know if I really want to be a beta tester, because if it crashes my system, then that'll be a whole different thing. But I do want it day one.
But you're not going to use it to dose anything. You're just going to use it.
I would just use it to test at this point. I wouldn't try to have it do anything. In fact, I got a calcium reactor, so there's not really a lot I can really do. I thought about going back to 2-part when this happened. So eventually I know they're going to have the dose corrected by this, but I don't know how far out that'll be. But that's got to be the end game, is to be able to correct your dose.
Well, that's what I mean. When I said that on some other chats, they ready to stone me. They said,
I'm ready to stone you.
Yeah, it's like, no, don't let it do test. No, if it's gonna correct it, there's a lot of guys, and I'll lean on the biz for this. That's very confident in Apex, so I will put like all of my faith in the biz. Like, all right, if I want this thing to dose my tank, how can I do it?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it at first. I'd wait a year.
That's what I said. I said a year, DC. I said
a year.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, just think about this. And Lisa Aquatics, we want to welcome you. We're gonna let you confess in 1 minute. But a year. Look how long it's taken Apex just to come out with it. You don't think they're doing their due diligence, to make a
I don't, but I also have to look back at the release of the Apex 2016. That left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And granted, they fixed it. Everything is cool today, but man, for the people who first adopted the Apex 2016 when it came out, I felt sorry for them, man, because
the Pima pumps are not that great. So they have their misses. I think not that great. I like them, but they're not very versatile. Listen, if you're using,
isn't a Pima pump supposed to be used for one particular thing?
If you use it for that, is
multi-purpose.
It's called
it says it in the name.
Is it built to be, or we want to use it to be multi-purpose?
No, it's called a practical multi-purpose utility pump. That's what the name is.
I thought just Pima was just backwards for pump.
It is,
but it
stands for practical multi-purpose utility pump.
Yeah.
Also, the wave pumps, I think there's been a... Listen, when I was young and I was an IT person and I was just... Listen, I'd want to install the Windows beta on my production machine, like immediately. I've been burned a few times, but now as I'm a grown adult, we don't take those risks. We don't take those risks anymore.
Nope, I don't do that.
Those risks anymore. I have family. I don't want. When I was younger and I was single, if my main system crashed, I could stay up all night and rebuild my system. It was no problem. Now I got to get up at 7 a.m. to get kids ready for school. I don't want to be up all night rebuilding a system. Because you just get older and wiser and don't take those risks.
So what you trying to say? Oh, I'm not older and wiser because I don't have a family.
Yeah, but you're an old soul though, DC.
Oh man, come on, man.
You take more risks. I'm with I can't take those same risks that I used to take, and especially now at the point of where my aquariums are, I don't feel the need to take that kind of risk. Now, would I participate in a beta? Yeah, sure, no problem. But will I modify what I'm doing because of that device? Like, say in the case of a Trident, nah, not at this point. I'd have to wait.
Okay, y'all taught me into. I'm gonna wait. I listened to the guys before me because I have an Apex and I haven't even used it yet. It's just a power brick. It just got stuff plugged into it.
No, we're not saying don't get it day one.
No. What I'm saying, don't use it to dose. To correct your system.
Yeah, now I would have it send me text alerts and stuff if stuff is out of whack. But ultimately, I think the goal with the Trident is to be able to fix your dose on the fly. So if you want to stay between 8 and 8.5, the Trident will eventually, I believe, do that for you. I doubt if it does it day one, but day 369 it might. But
Okay. Hey, Lisa Reefer. It's okay to mute your mic. Unmute your mic because it's time for you to confess. We're gonna put the mic out for you and present you to everybody, and we want to hear what you got to say. What confessions you have, Lisa?
Well, my confession is that coming from all freshwater and finally venturing into the saltwater, I want.
Oh, we lost you, Lisa.
Oh, you got to say that again. The suspense is killer. You went out, and I was on my seat.
Okay, so I want to convert all my tanks to salt, every single one of them.
What?
Whoa!
That's my confession, guys. You guys got me on the salty side.
Ooh. That's what I did. I used to have all kind of freshwater tanks. I have no freshwater. I haven't had freshwater in 6 years.
So let me ask you, Lisa, what made, other than influence, what made you really want to just leave the freshwater world and just go full salt?
Leave the dark side.
Well, it's okay. So I ended up getting a live rock, right? Mm-hmm. And in that live rock, there's been nothing but like little things popping up, from like feather dusters to amphipods to filter feeders, a crab, little snails. It's just, I'm so, like, how do I put this?
Intrigued.
Yeah, intrigued and almost like hypnotized by how life flourishes in saltwater. You don't get the life forming like in salt, like with fresh. You don't get it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just absolutely head over heels obsessed with my tank right now. And I can, like, I'm already picturing me going to a bigger system. So
hold up. First of all, that's awesome. I gotta give it to you. That is awesome. I'm not a freshwater hater. It's just I just don't see myself going to fresh just with all of the life, like you said, all the life within the life of the tank. It's like it's like a too how do you pronounce it? Like you have a freshwater tank, you just have your fish. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a nice aquascape. You know, I know a lot of people say the aquascape with the freshwater guys is like next level. To me, it's like it's just a picture. It's not like a moving picture to me.
Mhm.
With saltwater, it's like, oh man, you got the inverse, you got the fish, you got the corals, you got too much. So
going back to freshwater is like hustling backwards. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I've been like really.
We're not gonna bash the freshwater guys. Freshwater people.
No, I'm not bashing it, but it's just I can't
don't
do
give
it.
me no thumbs down. I don't have no thumbs down yet, Biz. If anybody watching freshwater, we still love freshwater because you know what? I actually like I like a discus tank. You know, just for something like a showpiece. But I would be like entrenched in my saltwater. Like the discus tank would just get fed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's so much, and I think with me, it's the life. It's everything. I mean, you know, with fish, it's fish and maintaining your bacteria. You know, it's and once you go through the cycle, you don't even really have to worry about the bacteria anymore. Saltwater, there's so many levels, man. It's so many levels to this. That's why I could never go back, because it would bore me at this point. There's too much that I have to maintain. You know, I have to juggle all this stuff in saltwater. That's just, I love it, man, because I like complication, I guess. I like problem solving, and you know, I never problem solved African cichlid tank the way I do this 180-gallon tank.
That's cool, man.
I even find myself loving like the macroalgae and like the different type of algae you can have in like the refugium.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't even got into that part of it yet. So
I love it. I think like I want just like an algae tank, like just all the different algae as a display. Like it's absolutely gorgeous. Every aspect of this hobby, except like, you know, of course when things go bad, but it's beautiful that you can create a piece of the ocean.
The only thing I can compare freshwater I would say would probably be a high-tech planet tank.
It's a high-tech planet tank. I keep hearing that. Like, what's other than CO2 going into it? You know, what's
there's CO2. There's different fertilizers and stuff. Yeah. You know, it's probably the closest you will get to a saltwater reef. And as far as complexity, you know, you're taking care of more than just, you know, the tank. You're taking care of your plants as well, and some of these plants are just as difficult as corals to maintain. So that's the only thing. And once again, it's because of the complexity of it. You know, I got into saltwater because people were telling me it's too complex, it's too hard. It was almost like a dare. Like I bet you can't do that. I'm like, huh? Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, I'm addicted to this. So you know, that's just me.
Yeah, I look at when you say like a high-tech planet tank, to me that just sounds like patent leather. You know, I'd rather have leather. You know, I don't want patent leather. I want leather. So
you just want leather. I hear you.
If I'm gonna do freshwater, I just want to enjoy it for freshwater. I don't want to like make it into like a saltwater, you know, saltwater challenge or something like that. Like to me, freshwater and saltwater is just two different worlds. You know, it just they don't intertwine. So I mean, you don't have an apex for freshwater, you know.
True.
You know, just don't have certain things for freshwater, and which is cool, you know. Like my dream in my house, I would want like a lagoon gallery. I think I already shared that with y'all. A lagoon gallery, a saltwater pond, an indoor pond, and maybe a discus tank somewhere, and then an outside koi pond. And I'll be, you know, I could marry any woman and just be happy because I don't have to like have no worries. I don't have to listen to her nagging and stuff. I just go to my gallery and my pond and my, you know, I'll just be in my own little world, my aquatic world. So.
Yeah, my uncle's into monster tanks. So, you know, I'll go to his house and I'll look at him like, you know, it's not the same.
You said your uncle's into monster tank?
Yeah, he's into like monster fish and all that stuff. So he will have these huge fish. He has arowandas and stuff like that.
I never understood that. I mean, I like the arowanas that have like decorations around it, but just one big giant tank fish in a tank. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and it's to me it's just not beautiful. It's not a work of art. It's you have to he likes feeding them, so watching these fish, just devour something, and they're all very, very aggressive fish.
So he would like a predator saltwater tank, like a
exactly, but that would be too small for him. Like, he looks at my 180 tank and he's like, "You're a baby," because he has 1,000-gallon. He has a gallery basically, but it's all monster fish, and it's just there's no decoration. It's just a fish in a tank.
Well,
and,
Lisa Reef, I'm glad you jumped over to the to the good side.
Yeah.
to the bright side.
Yeah.
Right?
So much brighter.
Well, I always thought it was like unattainable and I could never achieve it just because like I've been in the hobby for like 16 years with Fresh, right? And like way back when there wasn't really these kind of live streams. And if it wasn't for the live streams and everybody in them, I would have never even tried to pursue it ever. Like, and I found that it's actually pretty basic to start up a tank, and it's when you start adding like different types of corals and stuff does that when the whole kind of science behind it gets involved with the dosing and whatnot. But I'm able to do that, so I thank everyone in the community, because if it wasn't for all of you guys, I wouldn't even have done it. Like, I would still be stuck in my freshwater hole,
and you'll be miserable too. That's the bad part about it. You'll think you're happy, but that's not real happiness.
You look at the downvotes.
Rufus makes her happy.
Freshwater, she was really happy, Tina. She settled. That's what happened.
It's true. I did but it came to a point where I was so bored.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so repetitive. There was nothing challenging to it. And now with this, it's like re-sparked that for me, my interest in
there's no true growth in it. It's just like you said, I think you said, you just have this fish, I mean, don't get me wrong, some people just love fish. But why not have a saltwater tank where you can enjoy both? You can enjoy fish, you can enjoy inverts, you can enjoy corals. Even just the aquascape of live rock, that's enjoyable to look at. Something that you created.
Exactly, the life that's forming.
Right.
And you're you're making it thrive and flourish. It's truly remarkable. It's definitely
Right.
Amen. Amen.
Hey, Paul from Reef Community Worldwide, thank you for coming back in, because I know it's super late over there. Tell us about your live stream that you have tomorrow. What you got going on?
Test Tuesday.
Test Tuesday. That's it. That's all you're gonna say, Paul. Just Test Tuesday. That's it.
No. Test Tuesday is where we get all the hobbyists online to all come in and do tests together, because no one likes doing tests. And the good thing about doing a test is if you're doing it with someone, it motivates you to do it. And I think it's worked for a lot of people, and a lot of people have actually found out they've got problems in the tank they didn't even know they had.
Absolutely.
Me being one of them.
Absolutely.
I think Michael CJ. That's when he found out his nitrates was 95 or whatever they were.
95.
No, there was over 50, weren't they? Over 50.
I think
that's when he found out.
Yes.
That's when he found out that there was a high.
CJ tested.
So I think it's a good thing that everyone just jumps in. They don't have to come on the street. But they don't have to come on the camera. They could just sit at home, do it, put the results in the chat. And I think it's a nice thing. I say it's a good thing to do. It's not mine. It's everyone's. Test Tuesday's everyone. Right.
Okay.
I like it.
It is. It's Test Tuesday. I will definitely be participating in Test Tuesday. Because
I am. Do you know why I am? Because I checked my dorsal before. I was doing. In fact, I was on the phone to Seymour. I got my dorsal out. I was going to calibrate them, and I noticed that the calcium was about an inch higher than the magnesium, and they always dose at the same levels. They always have done. And when I put the pipe back in, it had looped round, so it was sucking in air. So I've not dosed calcium most probably for a week.
So if you feel guilty for not testing, hey, today is the day to confess, and tomorrow tomorrow is the day to correct. So you can confess here and correct there. How about it? So if you guys want to test your tank and not feel a guilty pleasure about it, we'll be doing it together. Hop on Reef Community Worldwide. That is Paul Williams, and he'll be
Nobody likes testing
Tuesday.
Nobody likes testing,
every
DC.
Tuesday. I'm gonna plug that for you every Tuesday. Test Tuesday. You guys go.
As long as you're on there doing your test.
Reef Community Worldwide. Drop some in the chat so people can go and sub you up. So yeah, we'll be doing Test Tuesday, and then on Thursday. No. Let's go to Wednesday because I think I missed Reef Dudes live stream on Wednesday. I don't know if he did a live stream, but every Wednesday we have a live stream with Reef Dudes. That's Devin from Reef Dudes. He's not here right now, so he can't talk about it. But we're gonna go to my main man, Reefing with O, and tell him what you got going on Thursdays, O.
Thursday we have I have a live stream called Tech Talk. This Thursday should be interesting because I hope if we can work out our schedule, will be Billy Pipes, and we'll have like a little debate of over tech. Billy has a really simple setup, so it should be a nice friendly debate about, with us having all this controller and tech on your tank versus Billy, who likes to keep it simple. And especially since I'll be at a disadvantage because especially since my controller just crashed, I think Billy's gonna have some ammo on me. So this should be interesting. I gotta prepare my arguments, but usually we talk about technology. It's some nights we have like an open live stream. A lot of times I have guests where someone will walk us through their tanks and they'll focus on, the tech setup of their tanks, but it's a couple hours to have fun. Some nights it's, we don't have guests and it's just open. We could talk about any topic, but we tend to try to focus on, tech, whether it's the Apex. In the next couple of months, I hope to have different. I know we talk about the Apex a lot, but there are other controllers and other technology out there. So hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll try to get, someone from maybe Senai on. I've been trying to talk to the eCoral guys to have them on so we can ask them questions on the controller. So hoping to have get different points of view so we could talk, so it's not so Apex focused. We can give people a balanced point of view.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm definitely be in the tech talk because I got I got doses that's not online. We just not talk about a lot of stuff. So definitely tech talk is a great live stream to be a part of. So you guys, go ahead, drop a comment in the chat so they could know who you are and sub you up. If you don't know who Reefing with O is, you might be just living under a rock though, because always he's always supporting and active on everybody's stream. So, but if they don't know who
one that's always doing the washing up,
Reefing with O, definitely, you guys go check them out for Test Tuesday. I mean, tech and test sounds the same. So,
I'm gonna get a new name. I'm gonna change the name.
So Paul has took over Test Tuesday. I think Reefing with O is Tech Talk Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's just call it Awesome Thursdays and just go.
I like the tease, but it's kind of hard to pronounce back to back. But yeah, that's I'm just letting you guys go ahead and plug your thing because I'm about to shut it down. I try to not to keep the church open too long, because the janitor got to come in here, sweep and do their thing. So y'all can't be in church all night. So.
I'm not seeing you watching the game, DC. DC, I see you glancing at the game. Don't listen, man.
Yeah, the game is game 7. So, but thank you everybody for joining at church. Thank you for all the confessions. Lisa Reefer,
thank you.
Tristan's, Reef Tank, myself. I confess every Monday. So I want to thank everybody for joining. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow on Test Tuesday, and you guys have a great evening.
You
All right.
too.
Thank
See you
Good night,
later.
everybody.
All right.
See you guys.
Amen.
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 Mhm.